Everyone creates the thing they dread. Men of peace create engines of war. Invaders create avengers. Victors program their future enemies. All other shit fear. Inevitably, men die from their own remedies. What the fuck is the sense in that? We keep fighting each other. This doesn't make sense. What the fuck are we doing? Fuck this shit! I'm done with this reality! I'm done! Embrace the dark so you can see so many things in a different perspective. Perception is projection, so what the fuck? Bring it down, put this on and you'll see so many different perspectives that you don't wanna be in. Because if you do, you're gonna regulate and alternate all those realities. Parallel to be exact, don't go out of body because it might be whack with you if you don't know what to do. Astral project, that's the way it goes. But then again, if you go out of mind, you will be out of sight. So what the fuck, yo? Bring it down cause the sound will be slow, cause you will be with this old soul. Alone but you wouldn't wanna be, because you don't even know what to do with all that solitary. Now you see many things coming at you with so many dissonance. What the fuck you gonna do when you really see all this pressure coming at you? Depression's gonna hit you hard. PTSD, now you know what it's gonna go. Don't look around, it's gonna be like that. Now you really don't know what to do next, because if you do, you might just wanna flex all those magic numbers. Good afternoon. Just want to remind you that the false mask societies are crumbling as we speak, and to not be alarmed by it, about what you're about to see in so many different ways, especially in the collective consciousness, especially when we see things like this. Before we get started, it's how you can't really see it because the sun's blaring on it. But wait till you see the footage I have to show you guys of how blatantly they do this. You can't really see it, but there's all kinds of haze behind me. And usually it's only around the sun. Only around the sun. Why? Why would they do this spray? Because it's not, even if it is coming from their exhaust. For one, condensation doesn't stay there that long. For two, okay, what if it is just exhaust? But how long does it stay up there? And how much does it spread? You're going to tell me you are okay with all that pollution that stays up there? I'm not. That's not cool that they do that. So it is BS no matter what they tell you. They're polluting the skies in one shape or form. Obviously. It's obvious. And wait till you see the footage I have of this morning. How blatant they were doing it. And how dangerous their acts are. Meaning 3 planes that if they were 747 jets flying up there with, or 747 type of jets that have at least 100 seats per, even if there was only 10 people per plane, there was 3 of them really dangerously close. That shouldn't be allowed, for one, but I have it on video to prove it. And it's only around the sun that they do these things. So right now we're going to meditate to get rid of that haze, Maybe not that one up there because we have no control over that, but we will get rid of our haze in here. Okay? As the title states, this is to bring alignment to the self and to bring clarity to the soul, as the channel is called Soul Reviver. Soul for the channel is an acronym for School of Light or Society of Luminaries. Okay? But soul overall is SOL, is an acronym for Spark of Light, Love, and Life. So you can choose any one of those three: love, light, or life. But SOL stands for Spark of Light, or any of the other two. It's a scientifically proven fact that when the sperm, the one, when that one sperm, usually it's only one, um, when that one sperm enters the egg and the egg seals that membrane around that sperm, it's scientifically, medically proven. Look it up. Your algorithms won't allow you to find it that easy because it is being suppressed. But there is a literal spark of light when that egg seals and makes it official. It solidifies. Get this, so solidify, like making something solid, solidify. SOL dash, sorry it's backwards, but SOL dash edify. Look at edify. Solidify. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing, edifying the soul, all right, amplifying it. But for the channel, Soul Reviver is School of Luminaries, rehabilitating every vessel internally via emotions and resonance. Let me make sure everything's okay. Hopefully you were hearing me that whole time. Totally forgot to check. Let me see. It isn't, because it's so bright out here. I'm sorry, I won't be able to see anything. I won't be able to reply. Eventually, all this will change pretty soon to where I'll be able to interact with you guys as we're doing all this. So we're going to do a quick little meditation in a few minutes. We have about 7 minutes left before we start the actual meditation. Hopefully it only goes for 12 minutes. We're going to start at 12:22. I like to mention this because I want to bring honor not just to my own mother, but to all mothers, especially Mother Gaia Earth, New Eden too. My mother transitioned out of the physical early this year on January 20th at 12:22 p.m. My grandmother transitioned out of the physical in 2018 at exactly 12:34 p.m. 12 minutes apart from each other, right after noon. 12 noon is when the light is at its highest, is at its brightest. It illuminates the most. Very few of you know, but if you look long enough, you will find that many claim and many have found, and scientists have proven this, that for some reason at 12 noon, your time, no matter where you're at, somehow, some way, the energies are the most amplified of all. Some who are very in tune with themselves and have peeled away enough to let go of everything, you will be able to detect these subtleties in energies and how they shift, whether it's within, without, inside, outside, as above so below, as inside so outside, as below so above. Now let's go ahead and get started with the knowledge that is necessary before we get with the actual meditation starting in 5 more minutes. We must understand what it is truly to clarify, to clear internally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Coming from esoteric knowledge that is forbidden knowledge that is hidden because it empowers. Esoteric knowledge is esoteric knowledge. Esoteric knowledge is not negative, is not evil knowledge. There is no evil, there is no good. Only interpretation. This is why the Kabbalion states the all is mind, the universe is mental. The all, being God, is mind. The universe that we can perceive, you can perceive, I can perceive, you perceive a different universe than I do because I have different knowledge. Doesn't mean I have more advanced knowledge or more knowledge than you do, no. But the knowledge you have is nowhere near the knowledge I have. Even if you were my wife, if you're a woman watching, even if you were my wife, we still wouldn't have the same knowledge. I would, vice versa, like we would retain only what I was going to say our mind, but our pituitary gland is ready to accept or is able to see. And this is why the all is mind, the universe is mental. What we know as the universe, it's only in here. When my universe dies, meaning my physical body dies, the universe continues, but not as you know it, because you don't know the universe I know. We have arms, we have shoes, we have dogs running around. You gotta relax, buddy. Huh? Why are you going crazy all of a sudden today? You having fun today? Because I promised people we're gonna start having fun from this point on. And here's what it is, real quick. It's almost in my time it's 12:19 Pacific Standard Time, PM. All the information I've shared, none of it is negative. The information that some of it contains may be considered negative, but what I'm trying to show you is a truth, not a conspiracy theory, not a thought of mine, no, a truth. I show only truth. And it's not my fault that is a negative truth. I'm showing you the truth for you to be able to counter it, because if you don't see that truth, you won't be able to counter it. You won't be able to adjust, adapt, and overcome through it. So if you're taking it negative, that's on you. As above, so below. As below, so above. As inside, so outside. Vision is weak, perception is strong. What you perceive will be projected out. As above, so below, meaning as the brain, as the gut. This is how we can bring it to the physical. If your gut is not clean, if you have a belly, I don't care how holistic you are, how strong you are, how freaking rich you are with money. If you have a belly, guess what? You have hell inside of you. And just because you're successful with a lot of money does not mean you're a good person, does not mean you have good intentions. Smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth. Look at all these politicians always smiling with everything. It's so freaking fake, and they're trying to persuade you that what they're doing, it's okay. Because look how much I'm smiling. And if you see the true wise men, women, you'll see that it's not that they're mad. No, they just don't have time to lie to you. And there doesn't mean they're negative just because they're not smiling. So, if you have not cleaned this up here, down here, this won't be clean up here. Again, doesn't matter how much money, how many people you think love you. Most rich men do not have a single true friend. For all their friends are only there for the glorious adrenaline that rich friend brings. So anyhow, if you haven't cleaned that bottom, the top won't be clean either. This is the first processor, the gut, ego, EGO, environmental gut organism, as the great Gray Thorn says it. But before I even knew he had that acronym, mine was energetic gut organism. His was environmental gut organism. I was referring for this too, but energetic as in up here, because this is electric, this is electromagnetic, and this is mainly magnetic. So if this is not attracting the solar plexus, soul, you cannot go to the Father without me, the Son. It's a metaphor. So let's go ahead and get started with the meditation. And then after this meditation, I will show you techniques, physical techniques, to alleviate the resistance in your body. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Close your eyes. Erase the known world, at least for this moment, please, for your sake, not for mine or anyone else's, for your sake. And take a deep breath into your nose. Hold it for a few seconds. And then release it nice and slowly out your mouth. Then at your own pace, take another deep breath in through your nose. For those of you who notice, I held that breath in for a very long time, nearly 35, 40 seconds. You don't have to hold it that long, but the longer you hold it, the more you transmute what you hold in your thoughts in those moments. You transmute it. So anyhow, back to the meditation. Our goal is to go from beta state of mind into alpha, and hopefully into theta. Usually, it doesn't matter whether you believe or not, in meditation or not, after those 3 breaths, you start to go into alpha. If you can keep this state of being long enough, at least 7, 8, 9 minutes, you will slowly, gradually start to fall asleep, or in other words, go into theta. If you find yourself in meditation eventually, especially for you beginners, after you're liking it over and over and over, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks in, of you doing it every other day or every day if you can, several times a day, because you're starting to see the importance and the clarity it brings. You will start to clear completely the toxins within, and it is a scientific, medical proven fact that transcendental meditation, or those who transcend that much in meditation for at least 5 years, and these are studies made all over the world, those who have meditated transcendentally and transmuted things without any money, there's no money needed for this, When they made studies on those people compared to others that don't meditate, doesn't matter where they were in the country for one, or in the planet, doesn't matter how old or young they were, every single one of them, and obviously to the ones that you can detect it on, meaning adults, they were at least 7 to 9, some even 12 years biologically, internally younger than their physical, chronological age. Here's another medical proven fact through that meditation, that meditation is a much more powerful technical rest, not only for the brain but for the body, than actual sleeping on your bed. Do the math of what I'm trying to tell you. At least for me, and others have confirmed in their own way, when I soak, believe it or not, for 2 hours or so. Yes, I stay in the bathtub for over 2 hours at a time, with me as a man, warrior and all, with nice little candles, nice little essential oils in it, pink Himalayan salt, beautiful little soft music. When I'm in there for 2 hours, I come out as if I have rested for 8 to 10 hours, fully charged and everything. And that is the only way I can continue being a warrior, because if I don't do that, all the tension, all the stress that comes gets retained and it taints the inside. But through that soaking, it releases so much. Why? Because I am beyond beta. I am in alpha, and technically I'm in theta. It's a lot easier to get in theta. But, like I was saying, for you beginners, if you start to nod, whoa, almost like whoa, like you're falling asleep and then you try to shake it off and get back. Well, that nod is not you trying to fall asleep. That nod is your body, your brain, your higher self letting you know, hey, knock, knock, knock. We're going into theta. Are you okay with that? And most egotistically, not in a bad way, egotistically get a little ashamed if they're in a class or whatever. And they're like, oh, I hope no one noticed that I'm almost fell asleep right there. And then they shake it off and they try to stay awake with their eyes closed. When you get to that point where you're nodding off, just remind yourself, I'm not falling asleep. I'm just really relaxed, and now I'm knocking on heaven's door, because you're knocking in theta state of mind, and your body's letting you know, hey, are you okay with this? And if you're okay with it, when you nod, take a deep breath and just remind yourself, oh, I'm not falling asleep. I just nodded, and I'm going to theta, and I'm going to entertain this and stay in theta. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in theta state of mind. Look it up, what theta state of mind does to an adult. Or at least this. Consider, why is it that kids from age 2 to about, we'll say, from 16 months all the way to about 4 to 5 years of age, they're always in theta state of mind. Babies, they're always in delta. From 16, we'll say from 1 year on down, they're always in delta. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. When they're babies, so maybe 6 to 7 months down, they're always in delta. That's why they're always sleeping most of the time. At the development, they start being in alpha, theta state of mind. So from about 4 to about 6 to 7 years old, before the ego kicks in, they're in alpha state of mind. Lackadaisical, tripping, falling, and not caring about nothing else but having fun. That's alpha. You're still relaxed. It's beyond beta. Once ego kicks in after 7 years of age, then you're in beta quite often until you can get into the flow state. The flow state starts at alpha. It is empowering at theta. And as adults, we cannot get to delta in a conscious state. We must be fully knocked out. But the point is beta is poison because we're thinking, calculating what's next, boss, what it needs to do, or my employers, what do they need to do, or what do I need to do to get things for my children, whatever it may be. That's stress, 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 cortisol, 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 belly, belly, belly. For you women, muffin top, all that stuff. So this is why meditation is important beyond vanity. Just like Marcus Aurelius states in one of his 5 steps to mastery that he does every single day. Which is to reflect, especially at the end of the day, of everything I did as one. I'm not saying it in chronological order the way he says it, but you can do any of these. The other one is fitness. Every single day, fitness, but not for vanity. Fitness as in training your body, your mind, your organs, everything. How many of you massage your stomach, your waist daily? Did you know that almost all Eastern, well, not anymore because we're starting to forget due to what I showed in the beginning, but most Eastern countries, especially the elder who know this already and they haven't forgotten, they always massage their kidneys, their liver, especially right when they wake up, because that promotes detoxification of what your body was filtering through to detoxify as you were sleeping. And this is why when you drink a lot of water and you do that, you're flushing what your body was detoxifying while you were sleeping. So how many of you actually massage your body? This is one of my secrets to having a 12 pack. There's only one person that can confirm that, because the 12, the last 2 are way pretty damn low if you catch my drift. But most of you, I can show you, I have a 10 pack. I can go low enough to not show you my privates, but you will see a 10 pack. The secret is breathing, and the other one is massaging myself all the time. Did you know that most of you are carrying at least 15 pounds of old poop that's old, like 7 to 10 years old, that you can easily expel out without an enema through massage, constant massage? Eventually your body, whoa, I guess this is normal. Your body starts to adapt and shift, and boom, things start to dislodge and come out. Not only this, especially women, beyond vanity, but check this out, this will help you out. A lot of you, not just women, men too, are carrying at least 2 inches of belly that you can release in a day's worth. 2 inches. You know how? Through burping yourself. Doesn't mean you're going to be burping all the time. No. What do mothers do to babies, to infants, after they're done feeding them? They burp them, right? What happens if you don't burp a baby? It's actually dangerous for them, for one. 2, they're crying and crying and crying and crying because it messes up their internal. The pressure it puts on different parts, because that gas is blowing up and is putting pressure on their little spine, on their little nerves, things like that. And this is why they feel so irritated if you don't burp them. Same thing as adults. Just tap. You don't have to tap hard. You can use your fingers. You can use your palm. Everywhere. Not only here. You know why you should do these things? Especially in the glutes and the butt and the back, because we have this thing called fascia that is right under our skin. And that fascia is literally like fiber optics, which allow the sunlight that penetrates in. For one, it creates the vitamin D, things like that. But when this, if you can understand, because this is the truth, it's scientifically proven, it's just being suppressed. It just came out about 9 years ago. Okay, but it's still being suppressed. It's scientifically proven. I got it by surprise, and I couldn't believe it, that USC, University of California, there's this gentleman making a video, and he's showing his classroom a video of a little camera inside someone's skin while they're still alive, awake, no problem. And when they move, it shows what the fascia does. For one, the fascia looks like nylon strings. That's what it technically looks like. They almost look like spider webs, but they look like nylon strings. They're kind of pearly. Okay, not only that, what they found out was that every little strain it's an insane amount of strains, is literally like fiber optics. What are fiber optics? Fiber optics can conduct light as energy instantaneously from New York to here in a matter of like a second and a half, maybe even less sometimes. Imagine that physicality, meaning object as a cable, doing that. But that's what's happening with your body. Now, for those of you who haven't massaged yourself, just like what I'm doing now, just sitting down like this, hardly no one ever does that. You're accumulating gases and negative air pockets in there and toxins within your fascia. So back to the little video. When the person moved their arm, it showed that the fascia, when it was attached to something and the arm moved, the fascia literally adjusted and adapted. It detached, and once the arm stopped moving, boom, it attached back. In other words, it started to adapt. The fascia is alive, and it's it's like fiber optics. It can conduct light. Call me crazy, man, but I only share truth, scientific information that I found. I don't share theories, especially not the conspiracy theories. No, 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 no. I dare not to poison you, because if I do that, I'm poisoning myself, because we are all one. I'm poisoning the mirror. So, back to the burping. So if you do that to yourself as an adult, you're in a sense burping your body, yourself. Again, you're not gonna burp. One thing that might happen for sure is you might fart, release that gas, and you will see that your waist will start dwindling because of the gases. We have so many gases just blowing up inside of us, putting pressure on our back and things like that. And this is why we have back pains. The little lumps around, those are not cancerous tumors. That's what they made it as an excuse to take your money. But they are calcium deposits for the most part, or knotted up nerves. If you're in an accident and if you don't work hard to alleviate the knotted up nerves, muscles, and tendons, they'll stay like that forever. Just like tension in our body accumulates from babies on up. If you don't alleviate it, you're going to get old very fast. If you alleviate it, that fascia is going to detach from where it was stuck because of the shock of the pain. And all of a sudden, it'll be able to be kind of aligned. But it takes, just like anything else, like a muscle, you have to train it, because if you don't, it's going to go back to what it was used to for so many years after that injury. If you see my medical file, my military medical file, you'd be like, now, how is it that you look the way you look? How is it that you move the way you do? I can't move like that. I look like this, but I'm always in pain because I won't be able to get rid of it. but I can at least align myself. So I'm living proof of what you can do. So back to the burping. Stimulate your fascia. When you do this, you're going to start alleviating the resistance in the millions and millions and millions and millions of miles we have inside of us of fascia, tendons, ligaments, all that stuff. Meaning, if you were to get every little strand of fascia and literally put it end to end to end, we will reach the sun. Each and every single body. Think about that one. So, back to the burping. Again, when you do these things, when you're meditating, don't be afraid to move. As long as you're not in the monkey brain mind, you can move. You have a little kink in your shoulder, okay, move it, just. But don't go all fast, just slowly, so that way you don't disturb your alpha or theta state of mind. And you just move slowly and breathe into it. Oh, goodness. That was a nice little pop right there. And even more. And another thing, if you would hang out with me in a day and just absorb what I do, you'd be like, what the? I pop my entire body at least a good 2,000 to 3,000 times every single day. Every single day I'm working on my body for 8 to 9 hours. That doesn't mean I'm just laying down on the ground doing nothing and working only on my body. No, it's an impossibility to survive in the real world or whatnot, because we have errands, chores, or jobs to do, right? But what I'm saying is I multitask this in there. All right, as I'm eating, I'm twisting and adjusting and standing a certain way to still activate my core, this and that. Hence why I still have an amazing body. I'm not being arrogant or egotistical, is the truth, in the sense that comparing to what's really wrong with my body, and it's not about me, 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 me. No, I'm letting you know my truth, because I am you, you are me, and if I am capable of doing this, that means you are capable of doing this. Adjusting yourself back into youth. After this meditation, it's not really a meditation kind of, but if you have your eyes closed and you're listening to this, it's okay not to hear me. But your subconscious is recording this, and it's going to help you, give you ideas later on the day or whatever that may be. You'll have epiphanies that came from my voice, but my voice is technically your higher self. I'm not saying I am God and I'm your higher self. No, you're my higher self. So if you tell me something, I don't care if you're negative about your criticism, even if you are a bully trying to negative take my vibration down. I'm to the point to where I see it and I'm like, okay, as long as you're not swinging at my face, I don't need to defend myself, and I'm really going to pay attention whether I agree with you or not, and I'm going to later, after our interaction, going to find out why is it that that came reflected into my reality. Why is it that I judged a certain way another person? Because as some of you churchgoers know, we are told since children that God is everywhere. God sees everything. God wouldn't put us into a lesson, a situation that we cannot handle. And I'm sorry to be dark. Even if you're raped, if you were raped, it's not God that did that, but you somehow allowed that to happen. I'm not saying you asked for it. I'm saying higher self-wise. And it's going to be very difficult for you guys who don't understand energetics beyond our electromagnetism. How how can you say that? Hey, I'm gonna be open with you. I was sexually abused as a child. And I was like, why? Why did this happen? And eventually I said, what if? What if somehow, some way, I created this lesson? I didn't ask the man to do that to me, but I said, what if? And then I came to find out that this is how I would have, I know it's not going to make sense to you, most of you, but this is how I forced compassion into me. Because ever since that happened, I was a very small kid. I mean, basically a toddler overall. Not a toddler, no, no. I was a little kid. It was before 5 years old. But ever since then, I vowed to never allow that to happen to any woman or any child, at least not around me. And no, you cannot have that mentality without that trauma, because it takes one to know one. Or what I'm trying to say is, light came out of darkness. Without sourness, you cannot taste, you cannot fathom, you cannot understand. You cannot even perceive what sweetness would be. Without light, or vice versa, without darkness, you cannot perceive what light is. It's an impossibility. That duality, once it's done with, it becomes binary, and love and hate are the same energy. They're just different variances. Cold and hot are the same energy, just different variances. So there is no hot, there is no cold, because hot to me might not be hot to you yet. Maybe a few more degrees, and then it might be hot to you. Be technical, please. Stop being a child. Get out of your child brain, and I don't mean inner child. Inner child, keep it. The innocence, keep it. But that 15, if you're an adult, that 15-year-old psychology that you have kept ever since, it's a scientific, medical, psychological proven fact. Look up Carl Gustav Jung, shadow self and mirrors. In all psychoanalysis, understand that all adults go through life with a 12 to 15-year-old brain, because those core beliefs is what we keep from that point on. How many of you have children that are 12 to 15 years old? How many of you see that, man, this little kid thinks he knows it all? In the sense that they know right from wrong, technically, literally. But after that point, they get confidence that what they know what is right and what they know is wrong is what works for them, and that's that. And then from there, they just go on in life, because ego starts to tempt you, just like a grandfather. You want to try something? Go ahead, try it. And before you get hurt, then he'll stop you. A mother will not allow you to do certain things because she loves you so much. And she'll stop you right away before you even get close to hurting yourself. Grandfather or grandmother, usually grandfather, he will allow you to right before you get hurt, then he'll stop you. That's the ego. It's like that. But if you don't train yourself to see beyond that child brain, the ego will always be the enemy. But ego is divinity, especially when you tame it. You tame each other to work out of service to the heart. Ego is divine. You cannot survive without ego. It is impossible. Stop trying to kill your ego. You're wasting your time, and you're not going to ascend. You're not going to raise your vibration. You'll have a better understanding of certain things, and you'll have a mask that shows, hey, I'm working on my ego to kill my ego. But just like Alan Watts says, it's an impossibility. You're an idiot if you try to kill your ego. You will not survive. It is information that was misconstrued. So anyways, Ohm's law, alleviate all the resistance within you. Simple as this. Which after this, once I open up my eyes, we're going to go into, since we're not really fully meditating, I'm closing my eyes because I needed information to relay. But in a few minutes, maybe like 3 or 4 minutes or so, I'm going to start showing physical things that I do to help you alleviate the tension, resistance inside of you, especially in the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is not there, but this is how you can activate, stimulate it to alleviate it, so that in here there's more clarity, and in here there's less pain, just by alleviating the tension up here. Touch yourself up here, and you'll see that there's little knots up there, and it's almost painful. Don't be afraid that there might be cancer. No, they're not. All it is calcium deposits that just went up there and accumulated there and stayed there. If you don't alleviate it, it's gonna keep accumulating, keep accumulating, getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, pressing against nerves, and then you won't be able to move properly. You ever notice that older men or women, when you call them, they're like, what? They have to move their whole body because it's so stiff up here. They can't do that. Excuse me? They have to move their whole body because they're so stiff. But if you alleviate it in different ways, and I'm gonna show you how you can use things to help you to get the leverage needed and all these things, you won't have these issues. You won't have to go to the doctor and ask him, hey, I got all this pain and I felt this lump, and that's an excuse. That I'm sorry, but it is the truth because that's what they're taught. It's not that they are mean. It's not that they are bad. It's not that they are evil. No, there is no evil. There is no good. That's just the way that we're trained by certain organizations that keep humans limited from becoming humans. H-U-E, hues, colors, human. This is why we're all rainbow warriors, and they're trying to stop the rainbow warriors from activating within you. They're trying to stop especially your children, because all children that were born at least from 1992, but they became the millennials and all that, definitely after 2000, all of them are reincarnated souls that finished off sometime before 1992 to come back at this perfect timing. Most don't see it that way because they don't understand these things, how these energetics work, how higher self works, how higher self works through your pets. And this is why I said earlier, you're my higher self. Even if you're negative towards me, I know that I attracted it. So I have to fix in here somewhere. Ho'oponopono. This is why Ho'oponopono is so effective and it's so real and it helps so much. And it's so effective in such little time if you understand the energetics, even in science form, in the quantum form. Because thankfully, a Westerner who lived in Hawaii, who found out about this, an American, I don't even know what to call you, call it anymore. It's not a Caucasian. It's not a white man. No, a European that was born in America. I don't know. But another thing, stop calling African Americans black. They're not black. Okay, there's different shades, but they're not black. When you say black, you're accepting duality and you're being ignorant. Another thing, stop calling Native Americans Indians. They're not Indians. And if you're not Native American and you're okay with calling yourself Indian, I'm sorry, but you're an ignorant idiot. Straight up, you have a problem, let's debate. I forgot his name, but there's this British guy who went to conquer India, and what he said was to break. There's no way you can break that peaceful people. The only way you can break them, because he wrote back to the queen and said, "There's no way we can break these people. The only way we can break them is if we take away their culture, their history, things like that. But these peaceful people would never be conquered," is what he said. And I have that image, and I'm going to share it with you guys soon. But that man, and even Christopher Columbus, who was an idiot, he just had a lot of ambition, and no one else dared to kill a lot of people like he did. But he was an idiot. He ended up in America by accident. When he came here and he seen Native Americans, they kind of matched Indians. And he said, "Oh, Indians, cool." Native Americans did not know what he was referring to, so they didn't say anything about it. But please, stop calling Native Americans Indians, because they're not from India. And it's not an insult from India to, I'm just saying, there's a differentiation. Stop using colors. Stop being ignorant. Because if you don't fix that within you, you'll never fix out here. And you have no control over changing people. You can only change yourself, your perception of things. So let's go ahead and keep raising our vibration now that I gave you some history so that you can truly analyze and calculate properly with real information, not ignorance. We're gonna start doing physical things that's gonna help your body. Are you kidding me? Look what happened in the few minutes. Again, on this side, not that much. Wow. I wish you could see this details. I wish you could see these details. But there's one, two, three sprayers on this crazy line here. Not only that, down that way there's not much, but only in the sun area. You're gonna tell me that's a coincidence? No, they're blocking your light codes from reaching your body, from activating your rainbow warrior. Not only that, look at that. Not only that. Over there too. Might not be able to see much of it, but did Elon Musk shoot out a rocket or something? I keep hearing rockets up there. Literally, rockets. I can't make this shit up. Another thing, what do you think Elon Musk is going to move his whole company out of California and to Texas? They know something. I'm prepared. I hope you are as well. That whole West Coast, Let's stop about that, but let's get back to our bodies because this is the only thing we have control over. So, first things first, you need to get yourself a stick. Always have yourself a stick. Even Jesus of Nazareth stated, you need to have, I know you won't find it, but trust me, the information is out there. You need to have a stick because a stick helps you create life. You know how? You hit the ground, boom, you create a little indentation, and then you drop a seed in there. And you cover it, and bam, you create life. Not only that, you get intimate with the stick. And no, stop being dirty-minded. You don't do things sexually with the stick. No, intimacy does not mean having sex. Intimacy is going in to mate, be intimate with yourself or with another. Meaning, knowing or getting to know that person consciously in a more profound level. That's intimacy. It's not sexuality, it's not being sexual. Okay? So the stick, you're gonna be intimate with it. Getting closer with it. And this is what I mean. So you need to have one that's at least eye level. This here it comes from the local hardware store. It's basically the handle of a shovel or anything else you can add to it. They sell them like this without the heads on them because you can put anything you want on it. It's just the handle, and this one comes with this with a certain curvature that allows you to have better grip for when you're working with it. Now, another thing is this one. They always come in certain sizes, and they won't always be the size you need them. This is a little too small, but it still does the job. Yours, whether you're a woman or a man, tall or short, doesn't matter. Yours should always be at least eye level. Look at the Vitruvian man. We are designed perfectly. So, most of us, our wingspan, our arm length, is exactly what our height is. Is that a coincidence? No. So, this is just a plain stick that usually comes in about, 12 feet or so at the local hardware store, and you can cut these to whatever size you want. Go to the store, get one, and tell the gentleman, because they can usually cut it there. And if they don't cut it there, you can bring the whole stick. Sometimes it'll be a little longer, definitely not shorter, but a little longer. When you get home, measure it to where it's eye level, and then you cut it. Now, eye level will be the perfect size of wingspan. Of course, if yeah, you can see it. The stick ends here, but look how much further my hands go. But it's perfect. Why? Because now I haven't moved the stick. Now I can cup this, and now with this one, I push. Not only that, I can also twist. Not only that, I can also add leverage. All those motions. Whoa! Look at how that worked. I was right on a crazy lump, literally right on the neck and the spine area, and it wasn't crazy comfortable because I know what it's like now. To you guys, it will be shocking and it might be painful, and you'll be like a little bit scared. Don't be. Just don't go deep into it, hard into it just yet. But anyway, right now, I was on a lump, it popped, and then this relief came up, oozing sensation because now I alleviated this lump that was on a meridian line, on a nerve, things like that. It's that simple to move it. So what I did was I was pushing pressure, and when I went that way, the lump moved away from the area that it was accumulating pressure on. It's that simple. So not only are you pushing that way, not only are you twisting either way, this way or that way, you're also going forward, backward, up, down, different ways. So now, not only that, so you can do it the opposite way as well, right? Cup this side, move it that way, whichever way. Okay, you can also cup this way, right? Not only that, but now I can grab leverage. So I push forward with this hand. Now this side is being stretched. If I push down, all of these ligaments and tendons and muscles and fibers and all this is being stretched. If I bring it back up and push it down, now I'm stretching out the clavicle area, chest going that way, spreading things around. Now, when these things happen, you're gonna be hearing sounds like this. I might look funny doing it, but you'll hear sounds like weird little sound like suction cups. That's the fascia adjusting, releasing from where it was stuck. Because if you're injured, you injured your arm or something, and now you can't really move it because you have a cast, whatever it may be. You have surgery, you can't move it. Well, it's gonna get stuck like that overall. When you're done, you have to retrain it again. This is why I'm not big on isolation. If your arm is falling, okay, yeah, isolate the damn thing so it can heal again. But if you just sprain your arm, if you just sprain your leg, don't isolate it. Still move it. It might hurt, but still move it. And then that way your nerves dislodge and it goes back to normal. So if you hurt your leg kicking something, all the nerves are going to get knotted up and you may not see your leg shrink up, but everything will be stuck. And when you move, it's going to be hard and it's going to hurt different places. Your body's going to start adjusting to that because it needs to be like that because it's so painful. But if you're like, nope, and go into the pain over and over, not crazy pain, just slight discomfort, and just hold it there, the pain will subside because anything you expose your body to in a consistent uh, um, level, your body will adapt to it. So, um, so when you hold it into that discomfort, your body's gonna keep, your brain is gonna keep, hey, there's pain, but there's pain all the time with this new motion. So let's adjust to it, let's adapt to it, and your body starts adapting, and then little by little you start go back to alignment to normalcy. But since depending on how long it's been since you've done this, it's gonna naturally go back to the boom being stuck because it was used to like that. But if you force it and keep it there, even though it's discomfort, and breathe as you're doing this and just hold it, your body's gonna it's gonna let go. Wow, it just did it right now. Hmm. And I wish you can hear all these subtleties. I'm popping everywhere when I hold these things like that. So another thing, uh, 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 we hold a lot of information. I know this sounds crazy, but we hold a lot of information. No, not here, in the coccyx. Do you know what the coccyx is? Is that V-shaped thing inside of the pelvic bone, okay, that technically looks like one big thing like this, but it's actually uh, four or five different bones kind of fused together, but they have the ability to move about. Now, if you, I know this sounds crazy because it looks like one piece, but it will flex. I know it sounds weird, but I press on my pelvic when I do that, and then I kind of, it might not show it, but I intend to hump, to touch my chin with my pelvic area. Nothing moves, but inside, ligaments and tendons and muscles are trying to make that motion, and all of a sudden, I was gonna say I'm gonna do it right now, but you won't be able to hear it. But I'll still try it. Let's see if you can hear it. So I'm gonna get closer, and it's gonna pop inside of there. You tell me, how can it pop inside of there? So, oh, I know you didn't hear it, man. It's too loud out here. But it went from kruk, 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 and then all of a sudden here, it released, and now I can move this a lot better. Not only that, not only are you allowing your alleviating this tension that has been accumulated for years, but when you move that, just like in the spine, when it decompresses, so if your spine, if you're like 35, 40 years old and you haven't really done much chiropractic visits, and you haven't massaged yourself, and you haven't usually had to pay for it, you haven't paid for a massage at least once a week, you can have all kinds of tension. But just like the spine is going to keep compressing, 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 and without that massage or without the chiropractic care, you won't be able to decompress. Look that up. The importance of decompression of the spine, especially the neck. The same thing happens with the arms. They get kind of closed in. This is why fighters have a lot of problems with that. But if you do that stick thing, hold it, cup this, and you're forcing this arm that way, this it dislodges out that way. Not the bone comes out of the socket. No, the fascia, the knotted up nerves, tendons, and ligaments, they go out. It stretches out. But the same thing happens in the coccyx. And I forgot to mention, when you decompress your spine, now all of a sudden, in these areas, now there's fluids that can flow into that have to be flowing in through there. And all of a sudden, you're going to start getting younger and younger, looking younger, feeling younger. The more you decompress everything. This is why you must become intimate with your stick. All right? Again, you just do it in different ways. So, another thing. How many of you, especially single men or women, some of you who are awakened, usually don't have many acquaintances that visit you because they don't like the mirror you present, right? So you're always alone quite often for years on end, for the most part. Like you're always find yourself solo, right? Well, everybody suffers from crazy knots, especially around the scapula. Well, if you do this, I'm pressing here, pressure complete, but now I can twist, and also I can pivot. That's like padding. Different. Oh goodness. And you'll be able to reach into those knots. Oh. So, what just happened right now is I stuck this into my scapula, pressed on it so that I can hold it. Then I brought this down. This, I just relaxed it, brought this down, and it brought the whole entire section from the scapula, from the shoulder, from the clavicle that way. Goodness, the relief. Wow. Even my organ just went clunk, clunk, like thank you. So the hunger feeling, that's not hunger that I need to eat. When you have the hunger feeling, that's your stomach trying to tell you something. Notice how, put it this way, for those of you who drink a lot and you have hangovers, what happens afterwards? Not only are you sucking here and here, body waves and all that, but what is it you feel all the time? Even though you ate an insane amount right before you went to bed, you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm hungry. It's not hunger. It's your body saying, please get this shit out of us. Hunger shouldn't be, no. Mealtime shouldn't be watch telling you or this telling you. No. Mealtime should be this telling you. Meaning, if you know you're going to work hard for all the day, yeah, you don't have to eat early in the morning. That's actually not good. It's not good. It's actually the opposite. It's counterproductive. It'll slow you down. It's actually better to go starving because then your mind gets cleared with that intermittent fasting. Once you know you're halfway through your job day and you still have a lot to work, okay, you have to eat because then you need, yeah, energy and the things that the body needs. But don't let the watch, time of day tell you no. I only eat once a day, and it's not even once a day. It's once every 37 to 38, 36, at least 38 hours or so. And I've been doing this for many, many years before I was in the military. Before it was by accident. I was just too ambitious, always working, always doing things left and right, different right. And then, oh, before I know it, the day is over and I have to eat. But then little by little, I started to research and I was wondering, why is it that I'm still muscular and all these things when I don't follow the rules? I don't rest nowhere near. I only rest 4 hours in like a matter of 50 hours. 4 hours in a matter of 50 hours. And yet I can still process and still have the. Look, lately, I actually haven't been good to myself. I haven't been working out. I haven't been resting well because I've been trying to uh, 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 finalize, is the best way I can put it, finalize my empire. I have many projects, not just one business, many businesses that I'm going to launch at one time on January 23rd of next year. But I have not worked out anything. I haven't even eaten very well, even less than what I normally do. And look at my body. How is that possible? Again, if you knew my medical record and what I've been through in the military, you'd be like, no, you're fucking lying. There's no way you've been through all that and you have that body. There's no way, no way. But I'm always in pain. But I'd rather be this way, look this way, and it's not about vanity. But I'd rather be this way than to be depressed and all pudgy and all nasty, taking pills that just mess up my liver and this and that. No, man. Pain is pain. Pain is temporary. Pride is eternal. Fulfillment. That type of pride. Fulfillment lasts forever. So, last thing overall, yeah, you can see me. The most important, the vagus nerve. Real quick before we go to that, because we're going to spend a lot of time there. This book. Remember, getting intimate with the stick doesn't mean try to please yourself sexually. No, look at this. I hook my leg here. Okay, so with this alone, I'm already putting crazy pressure on this side as I'm moving my knee to the side that way, putting pressure all over here. I can go either way. Not only that, breathing, whoa, that's a little painful because there's knots there on this area, but on the other side. Now I can move it. Now I'm stretching out different parts. I can move it forward, stretching out over here by doing this. I can bring it back, bring it this way. Now I'm shifting that out that way. Never got to finish the coccyx. Look up the coccyx. Even Western philosophy and medical know that if you alleviate the coccyx, you alleviate a lot more things. But just like with the decompression of the spine, when you decompress the coccyx, all of a sudden, as above, so below. If this is clear, again, it's not the private area. I'm saying the coccyx. Now all of a sudden, the sushumna, the central nervous system, whatever you want to call it, works at its most optimized way. Okay, Ohm's law. The less resistance in a cable, the more energy can flow through it. The more resistance in this cable, on the sushumna, on the cord to God, to source, The less resistance in it, the more information, the more energy can pass through. It's a reality. So, coccyx, yeah. Oh, last thing about the coccyx. So, like I was saying, I apply pressure. Sometimes I go downward as I'm going in, and that helps the sciatica. Not only that, when I'm doing that and doing this way, again, because of this, this is why I have the body I do, because I'm constantly hours on end every single day for a long time because I did not want to succumb to the pain. I said, okay, I'm gonna be in pain, but I'm gonna fix myself while I'm in pain because this pain is not going away. It gets better, but it comes back because it's true injuries. But anyways, so once you do that, I'm pressing and I'm activating core, so I'm working out. But anyhow, when you do that, and then, oh, I wish you can hear these things, man. So, goodness, it just popped in here really nicely. Not in here, not back here, somewhere in the middle, somewhere in there. But I know it's the coccyx. When you do that, right now it popped from here down that way, and guess what got released? All this down here got released because that's how the fascia works. The fascia attaches to help you to what you're stuck at. So if you're stuck like that because of pain and injury, well, the fascia, okay, you're a master, so we'll move that way. And then when you try to move back, it's gonna fight because it's like, no, we're not supposed to be there. But if you train it, then all of a sudden, oh, okay, we're here for almost 20 minutes now, so, and you're not gonna stay there for 20 minutes. But I'm just saying, every once in a while, all of a sudden it's gonna be like, okay, you're boss. It'll dislodge and then boom, attach somewhere else. So now you can stand like this. But then after a while, it's been so used to being the other way for years, it's gonna go like, okay, we're gonna go back. Because not only that, your body will, because your legs are not used to being that elongated, if you may. Okay, so, but yeah, so you push, no matter which way, down this way. Not only that, you can also go a little bit slight back this way with this one coming up this way, things like that. And then lastly is either try to pretend like your tailbone, like you're trying to touch the back of your head. It's an impossibility. But when you try to do that, things happen inside and they start to dislodge. Same thing up here. Try to touch your chin with your pelvic area. Yeah, with your groin area. You can't do it, but when you intend to do that, things happen inside that they're like, we don't know what you're trying to do because that's an impossible, but we will try because you are boss. And it'll start moving internally and things will start dislodging. And you'll start getting slimmer. And you'll start detoxifying, expelling toxins more often. Why would this happen right above my head? That's not a coincidence, guys. Call it what you want, but they don't like when I share this information that empowers. Okay? If you see this channel doesn't have much, but my other channels, and eventually I'll disclose those, especially on Facebook, always been censored heavily. Heavily. Why? It's because they don't want this information going out there. Anyways, so now we're going to finally get into the vagus nerve. Okay, the vagus nerve is not here, but through everything that's here, you can stimulate alleviation to the vagus nerve. Okay, and the vagus nerve helps you control your immunity to bad things. So if the vagus nerve is all knotted up with no efficiency in it, you're gonna get sick often, naturally, because there's no self-defense mechanisms working properly. But if you alleviate it and make it work properly, just like if you don't stretch out and things like that, you're gonna be less agile. But if you stretch out more and more and more, like ballet dancers, if they didn't stretch out, they would look funny. they will get injured all the time. The ballet dancers are always stretching, always agile, always flexing. They have to eat a certain way so that their ligaments and tendons and all these things work a certain way. Believe it or not, diet does make a difference like that. So anyhow, now we're going to alleviate the vagus nerve. All right. So last thing, another thing, a lot of information, but it's needed. Really? Oh goodness! If you would see the sky, wow, it's out of our control. Whatever. We could only fix the haze inside of us. So, oh yeah, um, try this. Press with your thumbs, however you want, back here. Okay. Close your eyes and look up, look down, look up, look down, look left, look right. I know you might not be able to see that I'm doing that, but you do that, and you're gonna see. Well, not see. You're gonna feel that for some reason, whatever you're using, your thumb or your palm, whatever, it's being pushed. Why? How? How is that even possible? If you're only moving your eyes, that goes to show you that these muscles are connected to the vagus nerve, connected to our vision. This is why it's illegal in MMA and in boxing to punch somebody in the back of the head. Because if you punch them there, they will lose their vision, maybe not forever, but for those moments, because all that pressure that gets hit back here goes into here, and then they lose their equilibrium too fast. It's a cheating mechanism. You can't do that. If you're in a street fight, hey, if you have to defend yourself, hit that person in the back of the head so you can get rid of that situation quickly. But think about that. Why is it that muscles move back here when you're only moving your eyes internally? Meaning, like, close your eyes and look down, look up, look down, look left, look right, whichever way. You're going to see that muscles are being activated outside over here. How is that possible? That goes to show you how much it is attached to everything. Okay, so with that in mind, this is how you know that if you press back there lightly, you roll, move forward, backwards, twist as you're breathing. Not only that, once you find a spot right there, now the same thing I did with my scapula earlier, now I'm going to do it with my neck, with my head. I'm going to try to bring my head up without forcing it. It's just a small little thing. Oh goodness, quick pop that happened when I intended to bring this side up that way, this side pop that way. Okay, now, wow, all the way instantly, my entire arm, all the way here, this beautiful oozing sensation, all the way to right here where we have the other chakra. Can you see it? Right there. Why do you think Jesus of Nazareth has wounds right there and right there? Because they were pointing out, the artist, him, whatever, they were pointing out the other chakras we have aside from the 7. In one line, we have 7 that is known, but we also have 3 up above that connect to different things. We'll talk about that some other time because it's very complex stuff. 3 above, and we have 2 below. One that's right under our feet. Yes, energetically, and not metaphorically. Really, they're there energetically. We're electromagnetic beings. That's how we connect to Mother Gaia Earth. This is why we should ground. And then there's one more that is basically at the core of Earth. But we, you, me, everyone are connected to it. That's 12. 7 and 3, 10, and 2, 12. But all 12 of those make one more. One big one that connects to the central sun. What can be considered as a physical God, if you want to put it that way. And I mean God itself. Not just an imagination of gods. No. God itself, in the sense that that's what our solar system moves around in. But it has a true effect in our reality and in our consciousnesses. And this is why I'm so big on informing you guys that after December 21st, we're going to be the closest we ever have been in the history of humanity to that central sun. And this is why consciousness is going to shift drastically all of a sudden after December 22nd. And this is why I'm so big on trying to help you guys alleviate your tempo so that you can shift to the proper reality. The world, the planet is not going to end. No. Our life is not going to end. No. But the world is not a planet. The world is what we perceive as reality. The world as we know it will end. And people are going to start going crazy. You'll see. So anyways, goodness, man, the relief so quick, man. Wow, just by doing that motion. So another thing is, listen to this. I've been doing this for years, and again, and I have the body that I have. I look so young, meaning way younger than what my real age is. But look, I've been doing this all my life, hyperextending certain parts of my body. For instance, listen to this. I know you'll be able to hear this. I'm going to hyperextend my bone because I injured this arm when I was 18. I can still move it around, but believe it or not, when you see my videos, you're like, you're not limited. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's actually limited because it's not my dominant hand, and I hurt myself when I used to work in a rain gutter installment, and I was chopping something down, and then the wind blew the door of the van where we have the machine that feeds out the gutters that we need however long to be, because the machine molded the gutters to the size that we need. So once it came out, I was there, I was going to do my cut, right? And I was ready because it's a big level handle, okay, that comes down and it slices the gutter that we just got done making. So when I was gonna, because you have to do it hard. So when I was getting ready to go, the door of the van kind of blew a little bit, and I went down, boom, and it hit the edge of it on that little funny bone area. And I started to cry and everything because it was the most insane pain I've ever felt. You try pushing yourself on that little elbow area, and you'll see that it hurts really bad, just with the slightest little bit. So that's a pressure point, basically. So because of that, I've been somewhat limited on that arm. But listen to this, okay? And I've been doing this for years, so it's not a bad thing. Listen. It popped, but it wasn't loud enough. All right, I didn't really do it loud enough, as I already did it earlier. But watch this, without even doing it, most likely I'll be able to do it even without forcing it. Did you hear that? That was right here. All I did was went out. Okay, maybe this way too. Watch. That popped right here because I hyperextended it. What else? What else? So what was I doing here? I was in a form hyperextending things inside. My knees. Nope, I already did it too much today. It's not working because I'm not loose now. I'm not good to go. So and plus I have to do this for like an hour and a half to two. As soon as I wake up, I have to hyperextend all these things, or else my injuries get the best of me. So let's go back to this so you can. Yeah, right. Yeah, they're popping. It's just not loud enough. But I'm working on a video where I attach different microphones on me and things like that, so you can, and I go through a whole session so you can see how much I pop everywhere, crack, 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 in a matter of 20 minutes. It's insane. Most people will be like, what are you doing? That's actually bad. No, it's not. It's not bad. The popping, all it is negative air pockets releasing instantly. Okay, or ligaments and tendons dislodging. That's why you hear that. Or fascia dislodging, reattaching into something to a better part. One way you can look up is, I think it's gunslinger crab, something like that. It's a tiny little crab that has so much power in its pinchers, and it doesn't do it often, but it does it especially around its enemies. It clamps so quick that it doesn't have to do it on the enemy, but it just does it by the enemy. But it does it so quick, and this is weird, but it works. It's the truth. it goes so fast that it creates a little sonic boom, and it pops. This is why it's called the gunslinger crab. I forgot the actual name, but trigger crab, something like that. And that pop sends out and it like uh, um, hypnotizes, it stuns the enemy or whatever's trying to attack it. Goodness gracious, that's crazy, man. All the trails that are doing. Anyways, but what is it that creates that pop, that little sonic boom? It's because all that, and this is not according to me. I was baffled by this. Like, wait, what? What the hell? And you can see, not only hear it, but you can see the waves going from when this crab does that. That's what the scientists explained, was that because when it does that but it's so fast that all that pressure coming down creates that sonic boom. So when we hyperextend, there it goes. So not only do I hyperextend, but I also pull it, I decompress it. Goodness, I wish you can hear it, but you can't. It's not loud enough, if you may. Um, that's why our bodies makes those popping sounds. The only one that's bad is for you to do this. I don't want to do it, but I'm saying when you hyperextend this way, that is bone to bone grinding. That's not good. But if you do this, that's not bone to bone grinding. I'm not doing that with my mouth. So what's happening is here I'm bringing it out and then pop. When it does that, it's the same concept, that crab thing. So I think I've shown you enough. Let me go check on the other end. Really, we went that long already? Let me go check on the other end because I can't really see here because it's so bright no matter where I go. And I'm gonna go check on my other laptop to see if there's any questions, anything like that to address. And if not, I'll close off in a bit um, with discussing the mirror so that you don't take people's negativity as your own and you take it as a reflection. It's being presented to you so you can learn from it. So as long as the person is not trying to swing at you, hurt you, guess what? Somehow, some way, it's higher self trying to let you know something through them. Okay? So let me check real quick. All right, we're good to go. So, like I was saying when we started, we got to clear up all this haze. Look at that. Mainly around the sun. Why? Why only around the sun? What do you think they're trying to tell you? What do you think they're trying to obscure? Look at. I live in, it's not technically LA here, but this is still LA County. Downtown LA is down a little bit southeast, about 45 miles away. But all that you see there, that's going to glide that way, towards downtown. You do the math of what I'm trying to say. Um, and most of this, you see here, is going to glide that way to cover up the sun. You try to figure out what I'm trying to say with that, but nothing is. We're doing it on purpose. I mean, I wish I can show you the details, but you can't see it. It's everywhere. You're going to tell me you're okay with that? There's no way, for one, that's condensation. And again, if it's only exhaust, it's only exhaust, right? It's not chemicals, it's only exhaust. All that is fucking pollution. Okay? But again, we don't have any control over that overall, but we can fix the haze inside of us. Okay, and when you do so, you'll be able to adapt, adjust, and overcome, and see the true mirror that is being presented. And others will see the mirror that you're trying to present once you understand what's going on. Doesn't mean you're going to start being different because of it. No. You're just going to be able to be more fluid with your transmutations, whether it's you by yourself or you and another, whoever it is that you're speaking to. So, anyhow, gotta get going. Look at that, here comes another huge big one. Probably can't see it. Is that way? Yeah, it's curving right above that one. It's going this way towards the sun, so that when that chemtrail comes over, it's going to cover up the sun. And of course, we still have daylight. Cool, no problem. But just what it is. Don't forget that the false mass societies are crumbling down. And again, I wish you can see the details so you can see how bad they're doing it now, because they know they're done. And they're trying to do this to literally poison consciousness. I'm not saying that there's chemicals that are poisoning us, because we might get in trouble for doing that. I can care less about that. Any of you dark ones watching, you guys are going down. You guys are done. I call you guys over, and you're trying to pretend like it's not. You're trying to pretend like you're still in control. You're not. You won't be able to. I actually feel sorry for you guys, for what's to come for you guys. There's some chaos that's to come for the rest of us, but that is necessary to reform, rebirth, and all that. And there's nothing we can do about it. Even if the dark ones didn't have this agenda and this and that, there's nothing we can do about it because of what's happening with the central sun. These are cycles that are here that we have nothing that we can do to escape them. But if we have our temples ready, we will shift and shift and shift and shift and shift and shift. In other words, be guided. Confirmation. You see that he hasn't barked in a while. He's just barely started to bark only right there to confirm to you guys. Nothing is coincidence. Remember that. And in a sense, we are in control of everything. This is why we're creators. This is why some consider us gods, meaning you, me, everyone. It's because we do have the ability to control at least the world in here. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will inevitably change. So, gotta get going. Don't forget you're limited to your creativity. Pain is temporary. Pride is eternal. Fulfillment lasts forever. And if you want to shift, get to my program, the 1, 2, 3, 4 flesh, which will help you transmute from the inside out in 4 planes of existences: physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Then you'll be king or queen of every single moment. And you'll be shifting to, well, where as long as you're still ready to fight for the light, meaning your loved ones, everything, your reality, somehow, some way, you will not die. Does not mean that your loved ones who have died that they gave up. No, that's just the contract, if you want to put it that way. Their mission ended at that time. and they brought the knowing that you were supposed to, especially with that loss, if you may. Because when we're depressed like that, and we get tired of that depression, is when we connect more with our inner self, our spirit. And this is why those that don't suicide after, or whatever the case may be, they wake up in the sense that they're more compassionate because they don't want others to go through what they went through, things like that. So, gotta get going. I should eat, but I'm not hungry. So, anyhow, one love, one light, for together our light will shine much brighter, and you are the architect of your own fortunes, because the all is mind, the universe is mental. Jesus, I actually am getting sunburned, and I've been under shade, well, somewhat of a shade, but that's what some of those particulates do. They amplify the radiance, and not in a good way, not in a good way. So anyhow, gotta get going. I appreciate you all. I truly do. Thank you for the mirror you guys present. I don't care if it's negative. I learn from it, and I shift and adapt and adjust and overcome. So should you. Let that inner child out and laugh at the face of your helplessness, or else you're gonna go insane. Peace may be with you at all times. One love.